You wanted the best, and you got the best. The hottest talk show on YouTube, Watchin You. I'm Jeff Scott in St. John, New Brunswick, and joining me all the way from Stewiacke, Nova Scotia is...
Jeff Gray!
Ah, rock and roll!
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what's interesting?
What?
I think Gene Simmons, you can't see me, but I'm doing the horns high thing.
That thing.
And apparently Gene Simmons claims that he originated that.
Yeah, he created everything, right?
Yeah. Do you know why?
No, why?
Well, it's because, okay, you can't see this, but like the way Gene holds his pick is between his thumb and his two middle fingers. So he can still hold his bass pick and still address the audience. So he claims that he originated that whole thing, but I don't believe that. Well, I think it's from something else.
No, he created everything. Right? He created, so that God created rock and roll. On the eighth day, God created rock and roll. So he obviously has created everything on heaven and earth. But the story I heard too, like if you watch this, there's a show called Metal Evolution or Global Metal Revolution. It's a great documentary though, and Ronnie James Dio talks about that. The late great Ronnie James Dio talks about the devil horns, and there's another name for it. I can't remember what he calls it. It's something Romanian or something like that. Where his old grandmother used to give him the evil stink eye, and had to do with that. So he claimed, and he actually talks about Gene Simmons. He talks about he talks about Gene and says, he says he created it, but my grandmother did. He says, right? So, yeah.
So here we are, episode 12. I mean, wow, we're up to 12 episodes. This is great.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to believe, really. I mean, we started first episode I think was in March that we first put out. And
well, I was thinking of that today. I want to go back and check the actual date of our first episode because we'll have to do some kind of a anniversary show when we hit that. So.
Well,
but we've come a long way in terms of our technology and our quality, our backdrops, our video, our sound.
Well, I was going to say, I just went back and looked at episode 1, which has a lot of views, by the way. It's our second most popular episode next to The Phantom, which is well over 1,000 now.
I heard 1,000. That's crazy.
Which is big for us. But I went back and looked at it, and it's quite interesting because I remember when we first decided to do this show. I don't know if you remember the moment in time. You talked to me into it. We were watching other shows. I was kind of like, whatever. We were watching some other shows, and they really weren't kind of doing it for us. And you had to, let's try our own. Let's just try it. And I said, okay, so let's try it. And then that was, like I said, 11 shows ago. So this is a really good time. I did look at episode 1 today a little bit because I was really curious to see the progression that we've made. I mean, like you said, visually, it's way more. It's way better. I mean, there's a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of hurdles to jump through. We've tried a lot of different ways of doing this show. And
with that first show, we weren't even using Skype. We were using Google Chat or something like that.
Yeah, we were using that's what we were using that just to talk. And then I can't even remember how we record. We were using recording software to record our own. We were using Reaper, recording software to get the sound on one track, recording video using something else, sending you 2 files over the internet, and you putting it together on the other end. So we had all this audio out of sync. My lips were always out of sync. But the first show,
well, I learned how to create masks in Photoshop and then import them into Adobe Premiere. So that's how you can see these wonderful TV sets and backdrops that are so fun to create. But I think it just gives it a very polished look.
Absolutely. I looked at the Halloween show. It's just over about 157 views now, and it's only been out since the 28th, right? So that one's moving along quite well. But that show looks, if I do say so myself, with both backdrops, the sound quality and the backdrops and the colors, looks really sharp.
Oh, great. You can't see what I have here, but it's Halloween candy.
Yeah, I got all kinds of it.
I'm still eating Halloween candy. I love the chocolate.
Me too.
The lollipops and the chips, not so much, but the chocolate.
I agree. So this is a good time for us to step back and kind of, decide kind of where we want to go with the show. I mean, what are the next, few shows going to look like? We had a really hallmark moment for us with Lydia Chris coming on the show, which is fantastic.
Our first special guest. Wow, what a person to have as a guest. I mean, we could have got maybe some techie who tuned Paul Stanley's guitars in 1980. We could have had someone who drove a rig or put up lights, but I mean, we had Lydia Chris. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
No, I'd still like to talk to those people, though. The ones you talked about. I'd like to talk to those techs. I'm not going to stop, but I know.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get someone on the air sometime.
I had so what I did in preparation for the show. I on our Facebook page, an East Coast KISS tribute, I went out and I asked the people who go there, for some ideas, and I actually got quite a few really good ideas. And one of the ideas was from Ben Van Belzen. He gave us 9 different topics for the next 9 shows. He always goes over the top, which is great, fantastic. But number 9 on his list was getting the infamous Eddie Kramer on her show, to talk to us with Lydia's help. He says to try and get Lydia to help us get Eddie Kramer.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people we could have on this show, and I mean, there's I wouldn't turn on anyone who's worked with or affiliated with KISS.
Well,
I would love to have on the show.
Oh yeah. Well, sure. I mean, I don't.
Mr. KISS alive.
Yeah, and absolutely. The one of the things I was going to say I want to start off with for sure is we want to make sure we got a brand new look to our Facebook page.
Yes.
Thanks to Chris Medic. He has been playing around with some imagery for us. And I think he's come up with an outstanding look for us.
Definitely, very professional looking, and I like the way he used or borrowed the KISS Army emblem and created our own Watchin You logo, which is amazing.
Yeah, well, he came up with a couple things for us. I asked him to do, when we started talking about it, I asked him to do a banner. So we got a banner that is one thing, and then he created like you said, the profile pic for us, which is the one you're talking about. And if you look really, what I really like about the banner pic to start with is when you look at it, there's so much thought put into that. He's got the East Coast KISS tribute, the ECKT. The E is got a compass in the background. If you look closely, pointing to pointing to east.
Pointing to east. Yep.
The C is the East Coast of Canada, actually.
That's right. You can see Labrador and Newfoundland in there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and what's really and I'll go back to that. I want to go back to that one in a second. The K is the Rock and Roll Over watermark in the background, and the tribute is actually the 2 towers. It's the 2 towers.
That's the part I didn't quite get. It looked like the Twin Towers.
It is. It's the monument.
Oh, it is. Okay.
The tribute.
Tribute, right.
Okay?
Yes,
okay. And which is really nice about that, I think it was quite by accident, but there's a couple of connections here, Jeff. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people realize, but there is a connection. I'm actually a United States citizen. You're Canadian, obviously, right?
That's right.
So that's in there. The other connection that's in there as well is in the C of that banner. It actually cuts almost directly through St. John, New Brunswick, and Stewiacke.
Well, you've been studying this.
I looked.
But that's great. Yeah, no, I did look at it, and I thought, well, there's some cool stuff in here. But
that was by accident, though. That was just.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And I don't know if a lot of other people know too that our connection goes a lot deeper than that. That your name is Jeff Scott, and my name is Jeff Scott Gray.
Yeah.
In fact, my Reverb Nation page is Jeff Scott Gray. So it's because I had to go there. So I went out to a bunch of people, Jeff, to ask for some ideas. Right? And I know. Yeah. So I got a whole bunch, but I know you had some ideas you had some thoughts about ideas. I got some more to bring to the table.
Yeah. Well, they're just sort of little silly things. I mean, I wanted to call the show "No Edits, No Topic." Remember how Seinfeld was a show about nothing? So I thought this would be our Seinfeld show where we don't talk about anything. Or talk about nothing, but I always said Seinfeld was a show about everything. It wasn't the show about nothing. They talked about everything. They covered every topic imaginable in Seinfeld.
I think that's a great idea, Jeff. Because when we did the Elder Show, we decided, we hummed and hawed about that, but we recorded a planning session that we didn't intend to record. We recorded it. And to me, it was one of our best conversations.
It was because we laughed. We were singing parts of The Elder and having a good laugh while doing it. Yeah.
So this is sort of like that kind of an idea, which is just to throw some things against the wall. We do plan our shows, like you and I. Like some talk shows don't plan them out that much, but we do. We actually talk about it in advance in terms of what we want to talk, what our plan is. And this show is about planning. It's about where do we go next. And we want to talk
about planning. I mean, you consider this back backdrop behind me when you consider the 3 hours I put into painting it.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't take 2 minutes to straighten the friggin' thing. So I apologize for my crooked background tonight. I tried to straighten it.
Mine is, and this is, like so we pointed out last. This makes the backdrop here makes me look so much better here for sure. Like you can see the Destroyer background here. I think it's quite phenomenal. If you look really close down, where is it down? No, I got a reverse image there. Down there, you can see the desk actually. I just noticed that. But that's definitely different ideas. So what I did, Jeff, was I went to the people that watch the show.
Yeah.
Like I said, Ben came up with 9 ideas. Some really good ones. I'll go through his real quick just so you can.
Okay.
So we won't talk about them all right now, but I'll share with you what he puts time into this, and he really cares about the show, and so I really So what was his things? Number 1. So first show he thinks would the 9 here's Ben Velzen's 9 next shows for us. Number 1, why does KISS belong?
Can I butt in for a second?
Well, you always will. So go ahead.
Can we call this Ben 9?
Yes.
You don't get it.
Oh yeah.
Ben 9 makes theatrical makeup.
Oh,
the makeup I use is by Ben Nye, so this is Ben's 9.
Oh,
right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I thought you were talking about being benign.
Oh, benign. Yeah.
So
go ahead. Sorry, Ben. Listen, if it wasn't people like Ben and Chris and Lydia and so many cool people out there, I mean, we wouldn't be on here doing this show and continuing to do it because of the followers and the fans and we just love all those people out there who love KISS as much as we do.
And that's what it comes down to. So if we had some drum rolls, I'll give you this is like David Letterman is number 1. Why does KISS belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Or do they?
Great topic. And do they care? 2. What is the musical legacy of KISS? Is there one? 3. KISS KRUISES III. I like this one. The ultimate proof that it is KISS time to quit. Or will we see KISS KRUISES 10?
Well, listen, I retire in 9 years, so I'm hoping there's a KISS KRUISES.
There you go.
12. I need KISS KRUISES 12.
Number 4. Who made KISS? The artists, the producers, the commercial people. 5. Album, singles, a movie, music, videos. What part of KISS will live on forever in the minds of people? He's got a whole bunch of stats here, which are really cool. 6. What is KISS's place in rock and roll history? 7. 70s, 80s, 90s, 0s, and 10s. We may look forward to new material, says Gene recently. But what is the real KISS foundation? The old stuff, or is it the new material? This is the KISS all-time set list of top 10, so he's got that all listed for us. Might ask you that question later. And 8, we'll be done second, I promise. Ranking the albums, your favorites explained. That one's been done a lot by a lot of people. And 9, finally, an interview with the legendary producer Eddie Kramer. Dear Lydia, help us, he says. So thank you, Ben, for the effort that you put into that. I actually really like the idea around the KISS Cruise quite a bit. I think we should talk about that a bit soon, if not.
Well, we're just on the cusp of the KISS Cruise, and a gentleman that I know who lives in the Halifax area, he went down, and I meant to speak to him. I haven't been on Facebook much, but I know he did post some pictures, so I'll probably whip off a few. I hope he doesn't mind. But I mean, the KISS Cruise are on their 3rd one. Apparently, it's quite a thrill for KISS fans to go on this, and a full. I mean, just to be on a cruise. I mean, the entertainment, the meals, the swimming pools. I mean, that's a vacation all in itself. But to completely immerse yourself into 72 hours of kissography. I don't know whatever else we could call it, but yeah, it's KISS immersion is what it is. I mean, you're going to see costume contests, you're going to see tribute bands, you're going to see KISS, unplugged without makeup, on stage with makeup. You're going to get KISS right at your yin yang. I'm sure the food has a KISS theme. I don't know.
Well,
but I mean, I'd love to go. Would you go, Jeff? I would go.
You know what? In retrospect, I would absolutely go, and I'll tell you the biggest reason why. I mean, I was looking up the KISS Cruise a little bit today. I don't know when I find time to do this, because I don't have any time, but I take this minutes to do this. And I was looking at some of the events that they have there, and they have like a drum competition. What I really liked though was on that website they had fans could send in the suggested songs for the set list. And I thought that's really cool because
I'm mad. I'm mad as hell. I mean, it's good for the people that went on the cruise. But did you see the set list?
I have it right here. This is what.
Why did I have to sit through War Machine and I Love It Loud and Say Yeah and Hell or Hallelujah? Why did I have to pay? Why did I pay $100?
That's on there.
Sit through those when and not much more. I mean, you know, you got your standards. You got your Love Gun and your Let Me Go and Black Diamond. But I mean, the KISS Cruise people, I think they got Lover All I Can or anything for my baby.
Here, I'll tell you what it was. Okay.
Go ahead. Tell me the highlights.
Yeah, I'll tell you the exact the indoor show, not the acoustic set. It opens with Lover All I Can, then Ladies in Waiting.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Then Shout Out Loud. Yeah, then Anything for My Baby.
See, we didn't get that.
No. Do You Love Me?
We didn't get that, although they added it in Japan.
Even though you don't like this song, it was great live. Almost Human.
Oh, I love Almost Human. No, it's not one of my favorites. It's one of those typical Gene songs that I don't go for. Now, in a live setting, that would be cool. And I saw it on YouTube, and it sounded great. No, I would want that.
Hell or Hallelujah. They got some new stuff in there. War Machine was still on that. I know, but mixed in with this other stuff, The Oath.
Yeah. Oh, The Oath would be cool.
Yeah. Well, what's really interesting, when I was talking, who was I talking to? Oh, you know who I was talking to? I was talking to Paul Zilla before the show, and he and I were talking about the set list and what we should talk about on the show. And he suggested we talk about the cruise because nobody's talking about that really that much. Yeah. But he and I were laughing back and forth because all of a sudden now, all these people are looking for this material. Like, they want to hear The Oath and the older material, and they never would have wanted to hear it back when it first came out. So The Oath, Say Yeah, that's new. Hide Your Heart.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Mainline.
Oh, come on. They've never done Mainline live anyway. Wait a minute. Doesn't Peter Criss sing that?
A little controversy.
So, it's a Paul Stanley song, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's Peter Criss sings it, right?
Yeah, so who sang it?
Baby, won't you give it to me one time? Right?
Did Eric Singer sing it, or did Paul take it?
Oh, I have to believe it. That was done for Eric Singer to sing. It's right in his wheelhouse in terms of the type of vocals he does. Look it up.
Yeah.
Let Me Know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you don't like Let Me Know? I think.
Oh, God. Let Me Know. Oh, jeez. Oh, you're killing me.
All right, Black Diamond.
Let Me Know is...
Black Diamond.
Black Diamond. I mean, okay, Black Diamond is number one, but Let Me Know, I think, is my second favorite KISS.
Then Detroit Rock City, and then, of course, Rock and Roll All Night.
Yeah.
So tell me that's not a dream. Like, even with the new stuff in there, which...
That is the dream. Yes, I mean, you could live with Hell or Hallelujah or War Machine and lick it up with those. I mean, if you give me Let Me Know and Lover All I Can, come on, that's worth the price of the cruise.
So think about so here's what I think it tells us something, though. The other thing I noticed too was when I watched a couple of the clips, and there was part of one of the YouTube clips from this cruise where Gene or Paul gives the microphone to someone in the front row. And the guy just goes, "You wanted the best," and he's drunk, obviously.
Yes.
You got the best, the hottest band, and the whole audience goes KISS, and then Paul kicks the microphone back and like, "Oh, he's not as stupid as I thought he was," he says, or something like that, right? But my point being is that the show is 10 times more intimate than the tour show, and what does the material tell us when they're playing for that group of people versus what they're playing at large?
Okay, I got a theory on that.
Me too. Go ahead.
No, I guess I saw this on Facebook because I read it recently, and someone, it might have been one of the guys from one of the talk shows, they were saying that if they're doing the stadium, they're doing the hits to please everybody.
Yeah.
But they're doing, what the diehards want to hear because the people on the KISS cruise are the diehards. Well, I mean, come on, the general public, at least in St. John, New Brunswick, going to see KISS at Harbor Station, they don't know Say Ya, Hell or Hallelujah, War Machine. My wife thought it was Love Machine. She didn't know. I mean, I'm a diehard. So look,
I'm Love Machine. That's so funny.
You could do Say Ya or Hella Hallelujah, and I'm ready to go to the bathroom because I had a couple beer. Or you could play Let Me Know and Love Her All I Can and just absolutely turn me into jelly, and my wife wouldn't know the difference, that they played something absolutely wonderful that diehards would really want to hear, or they played a I'm a diehard, and as far as I'm concerned, War Machine's a throwaway. Say Yeah is a throwaway. I think that they could have. I think they could have done a better set list for the Canadian tour. I was disappointed.
Well, I mean, I think you're right. I think it shows maybe a little lack of confidence in the material. I think, you know, you're right. I think we've talked about this before. When you look at the average audience, and we're speculating. I don't know the real stats on this, but I'm guessing probably half the audience are people tagging along. We've talked about this before, and then half the audience is real
fans.
Well, there's probably 25% that are kind of casual KISS fans, and 25% that are diehard KISS fans that would really appreciate this material. But you know, look at most of the set list. Like you said, you could go through most of the set list they do, still keep your standards in that anybody would know, the few songs, and then you could still throw the other stuff in. But I think they're afraid to do it. Or either that.
But you know, after 40 years of doing, okay, you look at the Canadian set list from the Monster Tour. That was like unlike any other set list they've ever done. But then again, you lost a lot of standards. I mean, Strutter, Cold Gin, Firehouse. Those were standards. They did that on almost every tour from 1973 on up. We've lost those, and I can't blame them. After 40 years of playing Strutter, Cold Gin, and Firehouse, I can't blame them for leaving it. But mainline, when have they ever done mainline live? When have they ever done Almost Human? Never. I don't think those songs have ever been done live until that KISS cruise last week. Here's
the top 10 songs they play live. Okay, start with number 10 and go into the number 1 song. Lick It Up.
You mean of all time?
Yep. Lick It Up is 10. I Love It Loud is number 9. They play that for Tommy Summers. He loves that song.
Yeah.
8 is Deuce.
Yeah.
7 is Firehouse. 6 is Shout Out Loud. 5 is Cold Gin. 4 is Love Gun. What's the top 3?
Detroit Rock City.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll All Night and Black Diamond.
Bingo. Perfect.
Do I know my KISS or what?
Yeah. Now here's the.
Just to cut in for a second, I went to see Iron Maiden at Harbor Station, and they finished and they left the stage, and a buddy of mine said they'll come back. I said, oh yeah, they'll do an encore. They have to do Run to the Hills, Hallowed Be Thy Name, and Number of the Beast. He said, okay, and they did them in those same 3 songs in that exact same order. And I said, do I know Iron Maiden or do I know Iron Maiden? Sorry, off topic, go ahead.
No, that's still on topic. So now, but the real test is, okay, so you nailed the top 3, okay, but what are the top 3 in what order? So what's the one they played the most?
The one they played the most?
And number 2 and number 3 of those.
Okay, well, Detroit Rock City didn't come around until 76, so that one wouldn't have been played as much as Black Diamond or Rock and Roll All Night. So Black Diamond has to have been played the most.
Over Rock and Roll All Night?
Yeah, because Rock and Roll All Night didn't come around until the Dress to Kill tour.
According to this, Rock and Roll All Night was first.
Oh.
So Black Diamond must have got dropped off of some of the set lists, and Rock and Roll All Night probably never did, is what I'm thinking, right? You know, for people.
Yes.
Then Detroit Rock City was second. And then Black Diamond. So see, I think what happens, once Detroit Rock City made it to the set list, it never left it. And I think obviously the same thing with Rock and Roll All Night.
You can't do a KISS show without Rock and Roll without Detroit Rock City. You can't do a KISS show without Black Diamond, and you can't do a KISS show without Deuce.
Well, okay. Well, here's a good question for you: of all the songs that we say that you can't do a concert without them, which ones could you do without?
Well, you know, like Strutter. I mean, I just don't see how you can do a KISS show without Strutter. And they played the Monster Tour, and there was no Strutter. And I saw the Love Guns, a Moncton tribute band, last week. They're freaking amazing. What a show. They didn't do Strutter either. So, I mean, you can do a KISS show and drop any song, really. I'd love to see them drop Rock and Roll All Night. Who needs to hear that again?
I could go without that. I could go without Shout Out Loud. Shout
It Out Loud? I'm so sick of that.
I could give up Detroit Rock City very easily. And actually, Strutter, I wouldn't consider to be a new standard in any way, shape, or form. I think it's an old standard. I don't think it's come back, in and out of the set list over time. I associate Strutter with Alive, right?
Yeah. Well, I think it's Paul's. I think it's Paul's signature song. Everybody has a signature song. For Gene, it's Calling Dr. Love. For Ace, it's Shock Me. For Peter, it's Beth. I think for Paul, Strutter is almost his signature song. It's always early in the show. Mm-hmm. It's always his, whatever they open with, it's like, bang, I'm going into Strutter. You get those drums. And it's his opportunity to really make a connection with the audience. Just in case they opened with, say, Deuce. This is Paul Stanley's chance. And as soon as they finish Strutter, that's then his, how you doing tonight?
Yeah.
It's his... entrance into the arena, basically. But it surprised me that they didn't do it this time around. And I don't miss it. I've heard Strutter 40,000 times. I don't need to hear it. I want to hear Mainline. They've never done that.
That's why I said, like, the last KISS Cruise 2 set list I saw was, like, again, same thing. It was all kinds of Dressed to Kill material and all this kind of stuff. And I really enjoyed that, and this is a set list that I would want to go see, and I think it would be worth seeing, for sure. So I could do without. There's a lot of songs that they do. I look it up. I mean, no, what the song that they've been doing that I don't understand is "I Was Made for Loving You." I have no idea why they're doing that song. Why they've done that song on the Monster Tour. No idea, because that's like a disaster to sing if you don't got a voice. I could do without.
And the Love Guns did it, and I just no. I mean, I'm just not a fan of that song at all. It's so un-Kiss-like, and
well, it's you know what, we talked earlier about key moments or key events in KISS history.
Dynasty is a great key moment.
Hold on.
I Was Made for Loving You.
No. That's the moment. That's the point. See, I think I agree with you. I love Dynasty. But I think that song was a key moment in KISS history. You notice I never say KISS-tory. I just won't do it. But that song, because you think about the moment when that song hit, it's like Beth almost in a way, a complete and utter departure, from what KISS was all about. And so I'm not saying they're good moments. I'm saying that they're a moment. That's one of those moments in time. I'm sure people get them when you think about them, but that's one for me. Beth was one, right, when that first came out.
Yeah. Talking about Dynasty, I mean, Charisma. Why can't they do Charisma? I mean, Gene is on top of his game. He's singing as good as he ever did. If you want to do a show that was 75% Gene Simmons material and only 25% Paul, I'd still enjoy the KISS show because I would get Charisma and I'm probably some Gene Simmons solo material, Radioactive. You could throw that in there. I think there's a lot of cool stuff that could be added, but Charisma, man, I'd love to hear that live.
I've always liked that song, and it's weird, but I've always liked it because there's a weird vocal thing that goes on in the middle of it with all these fading in and out vocals and things. But no, I love that's it's a really kick-ass song. There's a pocket in it, that comes through. With the drums. And the drums, I was trying to think who played drums in it. It wasn't Peter Criss, I don't think. It was somebody else.
No, it was Anton Fig played, I think, pretty much all of the drums. On Dynasty, it's possible that Peter played drums on one of his songs or one of Ace's songs. It's public knowledge. It's on Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah. So here's a piece of trivia for you. Go listen to Charisma. This is for the instrument geeks out there. Go listen to the chorus in Charisma and listen to the drum beat. It has a slight variation in it. I'll let you go find it for yourself. That is really strange. Okay. Yeah, but it's really cool. I pointed out to Blair, and he never knew it existed. Then he went back. He had to go back and listen to it all over again because there's a slight change that you don't often see in a chorus. Anyway, but you're right. So that was a moment I was made. How did we get on that? Oh, we were talking about set list songs, like why these songs are on there. I mean, a lot of shows have talked about set lists. I think, though, for me, the KISS Cruise, like Ben asked the question. He said, is it their demise? And does this point to the KISS Cruise point to their demise? And I actually think it's quite the opposite. I think they should do. That's what I've said. I think now they should become more intimate as opposed to less intimate. Yeah. And this is the time. You know what I mean? Like in terms of this is the time, well, KISS fans, look, man, you've been at this for over 40 years. I mean, it's not about the money right now, I hope. So why not just go back? Like, I mean, the KISS convention tour, same thing, right?
Yeah.
May as well absorb that. I mean, they seem to really like it when they actually do it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's money to be made. There's more money to be made, and I think anything they do is for money. But you got to really want to do what you're doing as well. And
of course,
I think there's a fine line between how much money we're going to make on this cruise, and are we going to have fun doing this cruise?
Yeah.
And I don't think if it's not fun for them, I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
But and then there's a fine line between how do we connect with an audience and be intimate, and how do we avoid every what if you get guys like what's his name, Peter from the Family Guy, who's a total KISS dork, and just slobber all over you because you're Paul Stanley. I mean, there's a fine line between connecting with the audience and leaving yourself wide open.
I don't mean going to the bar and having brews with everybody.
No, and I mean what Doc McGee said about the first KISS cruise was that the band had a terrible time.
Oh, really?
The reason for that was they couldn't move. They were in their cabins, and these are small cabins. I'm sure they had the biggest ones on the ship, but they really couldn't move. They couldn't go anywhere. And he said, when we design the second one, we have to design it in such a way that the band have more access to the boat. That means, securing off parts of the boat that only the band can get to. Mm-hmm. But some of the pictures I saw, and I'll try to insert one here, is... that's just a reminder for me to insert it later. Is my friend took it. It looks like he's shooting down over a rail, but it just looks like Paul Stanley is just taking a walk on the deck and getting this picture taken with a fan. So I don't know. I don't know how intimate the whole cruise can be.
Well, I don't. I just mean you can have smaller. Look. You can't support a tour where you're playing to 400 people at a pop. It just doesn't work, right? So that's just not going to happen. But it does. I can tell you this, that every time I see the KISS Cruise stuff, it's much more appealing to me, like in a really, really good way than anything else they're doing right now. So I think what's really important, though, I think the set list shows, to me, it shows what they really. I think it's what they really want to do. I think it's... Well,
I think it is, too. And, I mean, when you consider something like Mainline or Ladies in Waiting, it's got to be exciting because they probably have never done that live. Maybe on that tour when they were supporting the album.
They would have done... Ladies in Waiting, they did it.
My other thought on that is... was Ladies in Waiting on...
Dress to Kill.
No, is it on that live compilation?
No.
You Wanted the Best?
No, that's Two-Timer that's on there.
Is it called You Wanted the Best? Two-Timer, yeah. The other thing, too, thought just came to me was, you can spend whatever it is, $75, $80 in the U.S., maybe $100 in Canada, to see a stadium tour. But when you go on this cruise, I don't know what it costs. I mean, it's got to be at least, I don't know what it was. I looked into it one time, and it was cheaper than I thought it was, but... I won't even say a number because someone will just laugh at me. But I mean, it's got to be. It's got to be more than $1,000, $2,000. I don't know, but I think the thing is they want these diehards to keep coming back. So if they're going to throw out all these gems, these golden gems from Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, I think that's the way they're going to. For me. Looking at this and saying, "What? They played all those songs on the KISS cruise? I'm going next year." I think that's what they want.
Well, sure. I mean, the people who aren't a fan aren't going to go on a KISS cruise. They're going to go on another cruise to somewhere else. As far as vacations go, I dare say the price of the KISS cruise isn't that expensive. I think if you're going to go on a vacation, it's probably not that that expensive. Like I know I go to the Caribbean, off and on, and it's not cheap. But I actually think it's good value myself. I think for someone who's a really big fan, why not? I think the biggest thing for me is like Donna would have zero interest in it, and she'd be like, "Oh my God, what a bunch of."
Well, you see, to me, this is like I wouldn't want to drag Jennifer to that. I mean, she'd enjoy it because she likes to dress up. She enjoys the spectacle. But it really is for the Kissaholic, and I think it'd be great for someone like you and me and Blair to go on because three buddies who absolutely love Kiss, and it would be, I think I don't know. It could be wrong, but I'm guessing there's probably more men on the boat than women. That's just my guess.
It's probably a good guess. I mean, well, that's probably a pretty interesting topic sometime. I would say that they probably have more women fans now than they did when they started. Like, it seems to me that there were more male fans early on, and then as they got more and more pretty, if you will, I think they, it became much more of a. But that's an interesting topic sometime. So the KISS Cruise is going on. So we also got.
Any other topics?
Oh, well, geez, I got like paper full of them here.
I just wanted to. We talked about doing this show called No Edits, No Topic a while back, and I've lost my mouse again. Oh, there it is. And what I did was I just kind of jotted down a few things.
Yeah.
And they're kind of. This is back in May sometime.
Cool.
And they're kind of interesting because some of these ideas have kind of come. They're not really topics for a show. It's just some ideas I thought we'd discuss. Now, this is what I wrote down.
Right.
How would you feel if you went to a KISS show and the set list was Nothing to Lose, Let Me Know, Kissin' Time, 100,000 Years, Deuce, Got to Choose, All the Way, Mainline, Comin' Home, Getaway, Lover All I Can, Flaming Youth, Sweet Pain, See You in Your Dreams, Mr. Speed, Black Diamond, and finale, Love Gun in Detroit Rock City. Now, to me, that was my dream set list, and I wrote that down. And in response to the Monster Tour set list. And I come to realize that they're giving some of the fans, some of that stuff.
Pretty darn close, right?
Yeah.
What else?
The other thing I wrote down, do you think Ace and Peter would ever work together again? And just recently they have. They appeared on the Eddie Trunk 30th anniversary. I think they only did one song together. What was the song? I can't think.
I didn't see. I saw Peter doing Hooligan.
Yes.
Right.
And Ace did Parasite. But they did something together. Oh, it's Lover All I Can.
Really?
Yeah, they did that together with and Ace didn't sing and Peter didn't sing. It was one of the one of the no-name guys, like a red shirt on Star Trek.
Yeah. The guy
character without a name.
He's gonna die.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? Rabowski. Who's Rabowski? Oh, he's dying.
So that was one of the questions I wrote down because
that's a good one.
Ace and Peter had just started on the Bad Boys tour. Not just started, but after so many years of nothing, I thought, well, if Paul and Gene can stick together all these decades, why can't Ace and Peter? So that's a thought that I had back in May, and I remember jotting it down. And
what would
lo
they
and
do?
behold,
What would they do?
What would they do?
Would they
Kiss and make up. I don't know.
Would they do Kiss songs, or would they have to come up? Would they come up with new material? Or?
Well, look, you've got an entire solo album of not just one, but many Ace Frehley solo albums. You've got Peter Criss solo albums, but even just in the KISS catalog itself, you've got all kinds of great stuff. Strange Ways, Getaway. Yeah, I mean, they could do songs.
So stuff they've already done before, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I think that it would be
I don't think.
I'd pay to see Ace and Peter.
I think the problem with that is when we see that stuff on YouTube. I think it looks. I think when you actually look at how big the audiences and the draws have been on that kind of stuff, it's been really small. It's like 200 people, 250.
Yeah.
So I don't think. And I creatively, I think that's been the biggest challenge for Peter and for Ace for a while now is the creative element, not covering the songs they already wrote.
And you know what else is missing?
What?
Think about it. What's missing?
Geez, lots of stuff. What?
Yeah, but the big thing that's missing
for those two
is the makeup. I mean, look, KISS sold I don't know how many 6,000 tickets here in St. John, and I don't think a lot of them were big KISS fans. Not like me. I think it's the spectacle of seeing the show and the stage and that big spider and four guys coming out in all black and silver.
Yeah.
That was the draw, and I think you put Ace and Peter on stage. Well, it's not KISS, but it's half of KISS. No, it's just as much half of KISS as, say, Gene and Paul. Now, I know people are going to shout at me over that and then want to debate that one, but to me, Ace and Peter in a show is as much half a Kiss as Paul and Gene.
Sure it is.
But you're not going to get the makeup. You're not going to get the Kiss logo. You're not going to get a lot of the songs.
Well, we saw some evidence of that. I mean, Paul did a show there, or a few shows. Was it One Life Kiss? I think it was called, or something like that. And he couldn't. He's not going to be by himself going out touring his original material. Wasn't going to sustain anything. Gene couldn't sustain it. That's for sure. You're right. I think you're absolutely correct. I think that, and that's the problem for Ace and Peter, is that they wouldn't have that kind of spectacle. And in fact, they don't even believe in that. They believe more in the music. At least that's what they would think they do. You know what's really interesting? I was watching yesterday. I was watching this interview with Neil Peart on George Stroumboulopoulos. See if anybody else can say that. On CBC, our favorite television network here in Canada.
In Canada only.
Canada only. Yeah, and anyway, but they talked in the early part of that interview with him. I shared it on. I have another page, East Coast Rush Tribute, and I shared that interview on there. He's very rare for Neil Peart to be on TV and to do an interview.
Yeah, because he doesn't like the whole fan star kind of thing.
Well, he doesn't. He's humble as hell, right? Yeah. And but anyway, the first part of the interview, it's worth checking out because he talks about the early days with Kiss, and he talks about the difference between Gene and Paul and Peter and Ace, and how uncomfortable. How he said, when we toured with Kiss, he said they were a business machine. He said, but I could see. He said the guys. He said Peter and Ace were really nice guys. He said they were really heart and soul kind of people, but they couldn't handle. It was the business aspect of it, and he said you could really see it affecting them, and that's exactly what we saw with the band over time. Is that I don't blame Gene and Paul. I don't blame Peter and Ace. I don't. I just think it's like anything else. If you don't share a mission, you're never going to be able to stay together. Same thing with a marriage. If you don't have the same goals, you're never going to be able to stay together, right?
And something, it's just put a strange perspective on things. When you consider the original band, okay, with Ace and Peter, they had their glory between. Okay, let's just say the foundation albums between the original Kiss album and say Love Gun, or let's even include Dynasty, where the cracks are starting to.
That'd be as far as they got,
tear the band apart. You're talking from 1974 to 1979. That's 5 years.
But that's even. I think you've expanded
5 years.
I think you have to. I think you've even expanded it, though. I think that really for them, the real heyday for them was once Kiss Alive came out to that point. So it's even later now.
Yeah. So when you consider, this is a band that's got a 40-year history.
Yeah.
Gene and Paul have put in 40 years into this band, and Ace and Peter pretty much, Peter bailed out sometime around 78, 79. So 5 years, and there's still people griping about, Peter Criss should be the Catman. Well, I love Peter to death, and I love the original Kiss lineup. Nothing compares to it. Because that's what Kiss was for me when I came on board as a teenager. That's who Kiss was to me. But Eric Singer has been pounding those drums more than anyone in that band, and now Tommy Thayer, I think, has been in the lead guitar position longer than Ace did. If you consider, Ace in the original lineup and then the reunion tour, which lasted all of from '96 to roughly 2000, which is a farewell tour. So you're talking about maybe 8 or 9 years in total for Ace. Tommy's been in the band at least that long, or longer.
Yeah, well, my answer to that is, we talked about this before, my answer to that is, so what? Really,
and this is a topic I definitely don't ever want to get into on this show is griping over who should be in that position. I don't even know how I got down that.
I don't know how you did either, but you probably interrupted me and went down that
and I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it.
Here, I'm going to give you some band names, and I want you to tell me what they have in common. Okay. ABBA.
Yeah.
Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss. Louis Armstrong. Chet Atkins. Just one sec. The OJs.
Must be a label.
Nope.
That's my guess. No.
Nope.
I don't even know some of these you've mentioned.
Well, they're the Jackson 5.
Yeah.
Etta James, Jefferson Airplane, Billy Joel, Dr. John. Okay, these are all people in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and I can understand that.
You can. ABBA.
I can understand ABBA being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because I think they've had a huge...
Rock, what is rock?
They had a huge impact in the 70s, and that's still lasting today.
To what?
We saw an ABBA tribute band this past
summer.
And it was amazing. We knew every song, and we absolutely loved it.
Okay, so is it because they have influence? So should Metallica be in the Jazz Hall of Fame?
Oh, I see what you mean.
What's rock? What is rock?
Well, I mean, you could change. Okay, yeah, if you want to change the name to popular music,
but it's not. No, this is the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's what I'm asking is that ABBA.
How do you define rock and roll? I mean, there's rock and roll, then there's rock. Then there's heavy rock.
Chet Atkins, ABBA.
Okay, ABBA disco. Chet Atkins.
He's a guitar player.
Like a Nashville country / rockabilly?
Yeah, not even rockabilly, yeah. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Soul R&B.
Everly Brothers.
Folk rock?
Yeah.
Early rock and roll, I guess, yeah.
So these are all people that are in Albert King, B.B. King.
B.B. King blues.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are all... Because here's the reason I bring this up, obviously, because there's a big topic right now, is why isn't KISS in the rock and roll?
Well, did you vote for them?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
You can go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame website, and they're all listed there. All the nominees this year are listed, and I voted for one band. Casey and the Sunshine Band. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, they're probably in there. Let me see.
I voted. They might be there. I voted for KISS, and that's the only one I voted for.
But there's bands in there that I don't understand.
KISS, and after you vote, you can see the tally. And KISS, I believe they were second place, and I can't think who was first place. But they're in second place. What I didn't understand was, are they only taking one, or are they bringing in 3 or 4 from that list? I'm not sure.
Love and Spoonful.
I mean,
so
I don't think I could name a song by Love and.
Do you believe in magic?
One, yeah,
do you believe,
something like that.
That's it. Do you believe in magic? But I guess the point is that this is the topic now. It's just like last year when Rush got inducted. Yeah. Did you see Alex Lifeson's acceptance speech?
No.
Okay, I'll just leave it with that. Go watch it on YouTube. Okay. It's really good, actually, because I tell you what, Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters and his drummer, I can't remember the drummer's name, really cool drummer, did the induction of Rush into the Hall of Fame, and they did a fabulous job. And they came out and played 2112, and then Rush comes out. But anyway, when they did the acceptance speech, Alex Lifeson makes a bit of a mockery of it all, right? Yeah. In a very funny way.
And you know how we talk about how Gene Simmons will spin everything in his own favor, and for years they wouldn't even consider KISS for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and when they asked Gene about it, he almost kind of threw it backwards, as if to say, we don't want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and one of his reasons for that was, okay, so we give them our costumes and our guitars and some memorabilia, and they put some mannequins up with face paint or whatever, and they charge $12, $15 at the door for people to go through. Well, where's my $1?
Right.
Or where's my $3 from that?
Well,
and it all comes down to money. So Gene was kind of spinning that backwards, as if to say, we don't want to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's why I brought it up the way I brought it up, Jeff, is because, the bigger question for me, did I vote? No, I didn't vote, because I don't give a rat's ass. And no, but that's what it comes down to, is that I'm not going to vote to get them into this thing that is called, I don't know about you, but rock and roll to me. Now there's levels of rock and roll, of course, like rock and roll started in the 50s, Bill Haley and the Comets, and it went on from there. But I know ABBA's not rock and roll, and I know that Chet Atkins isn't rock and roll. I love Chet Atkins, but he's not rock and roll. So it's like I remember the first year they had a medal award at the Grammys.
Yes.
Do you remember who won?
Yeah, it was Jethro Tull.
And I remember when the year that Metallica finally won, I remember Lars Ulrich going up to the podium and says, "Oh, it's a good thing that Jethro Tull didn't have an album out this year." It was hilarious.
Well, one year Alice Cooper was presenting an award, and he opens up the envelope. I think it was like best rock album or something like that, right? And he goes, and the winner is Jethro Tull. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and I felt bad
because Jethro became a joke, but I love Jethro Tull.
Me too.
They're like my fourth favorite.
But they're not metal. I mean, that's what's.
Well, they have elements of hard rock in their music. It's a stretch. It can be very Zeppelin-esque. But if anything, I'd call them more of a folk rock band.
Yeah, but that's the point. So here's the question I have. And I agree with, by the way, I agree with Gene on this one, but just for different reasons, not because of the money aspect of it. And like you said, he'll spin it and he'll be glad to get in it when he does get in it, because then they can use that for something else to make some money on it. But
listen, they'll have, they can put together another greatest hits compilation and call it the KISS Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
edition.
And
and you'll get, whatever. Instead of Detroit Rock City #1, it'll be #8 instead of, that's how it'll happen. But so here's my question to you though: is forgetting all that crap, okay? In other words, the money and all that stuff, should KISS care if they're in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I think they should care, and it's coming down to legacy. KISS are going to have a legacy, and here's another question I had on my list. Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm a high school teacher, and we teach Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. Now, there have been umpteen million writers in the history of English literature. Mm-hmm. 400 years later, Shakespeare is one of those writers that is remembered as being, one of the top in his genre. And his plays are still studied 400 years later. Yeah. My question is, and Ben brought this up, what is the legacy of KISS? Like 400 years from now, when they look back on the first decades of popular music, we're talking 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Yeah. I think KISS will stand out, if anything, just being iconic, as being someone who went that extra mile to put on boots and makeup and costume and blow up the stage in order to really make it more than just playing guitar and singing songs. I think that they will really be remembered for being that iconic band. But I'm just wondering if the music, the way that we look at Shakespeare's plays, will people actually listen to KISS's music the same way? I mean, I know the Beatles are going to be, studied. People will study Beatles music 400 years from now, for content and structure and harmony and whatever. And I don't know. I think that's all part of the KISS legacy. I mean, do they care if they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I think they care. I think Paul Stanley cares.
That's not my question. My question is, do you think they should care?
Do who should care?
Do you think that KISS should care?
I think KISS should care, yes. I think they should care about it, yeah.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. I think they just...
No, that was the question.
But why not? I mean, I think that, a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, that kind of defines automatically the impact of your band.
Well, I don't think it does.
How iconic you were.
I looked at that list today and I said, this means nothing to me. I mean, when I looked at it and I said, if you said, who was in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I'd be going down saying, oh, geez, it must be Elvis Presley, it must be Bill Haley and the Comets, it must be the Beatles, it must be Zeppelin, it must be Deep Purple. No, Deep Purple, by the way.
Deep Purple is on the ballot this year.
But they're not in. They've been around since fucking forever.
Is Elvis in the?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just. You know what I'm saying? I don't expect to see ABBA in there. I don't expect to see the OJs. These are all great artists. That's not what I'm saying. It's just as a rock and roll, like you said, you were talking about KISS's legacy. I think you're right. I think it's going to be more about whenever you see. I'm really disappointed actually in the amount of attention they get on popular television shows, which are talking about music of the 70s and 80s and rock music or metal. Yeah. And they really get pushed aside and don't get the attention that they probably deserve. And I think it's because people outside of the KISS fandom, if you will, don't recognize the music as being what they do.
They don't see past the makeup, and you could almost say the same thing of Alice Cooper. I mean, when I'm not a huge Cooper fan, but one of the albums I bought was called Flush the Fashion, and it says Alice Cooper 80. I don't know why he stuck 80. It was 1980. It was a new decade, and I guess he just thought of a new name. I mean, it was called Alice Cooper 80. Flush the Fashion. My God, I love that album.
Really?
I don't really know who wrote a lot of the music. I didn't really study it that well. I think I had a cassette version of it. But anyway, the point I'm making is that if you only see the makeup on Alice and the snakes and the top hat and the blood and the smoke, you'd say, oh yeah, that's Alice Cooper, and that probably wouldn't excite me a whole lot. But this album is a great album, and it's a great rock album. There are some very diverse tunes on it in terms of songwriting and production. I absolutely love that album. So the point I'm making is that I think a lot of people would look at KISS and say, oh yeah, that's just KISS, that party band in makeup, and how many people really sit down and listen to what they can actually do.
Yeah.
That's why I pushed the solo albums as just a great moment in KISS history, where those guys really got a chance to shine and show their talents, especially Gene's album. And I know a lot of people don't like it and they laugh at it and rate it a way distant fourth. I think it's the best one because of the creativity and the diversity of what he can do. Plus, I like his voice.
Now we know. Yeah. But no, I think
I strayed way off topic.
No, I don't think so. But not at all. I don't think you have. And so I guess at the end of that, I just want to put that on the table because obviously this is a topic that's very current right now. And my opinion on it is no, they shouldn't care at all. And there's sort of like, it's sort of like, to me, I don't know, when I was growing up, I was a rebel in that I didn't, if something was popular, and everybody else, and I wasn't initially invited in, I would never try to get invited in. In fact, I would do just the opposite. And because it's not rock and roll to me, so like for them to care about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame right now, it's actually more rock and roll not to care about it. It's sort of like right now, I think that if you want to be a rebel, for instance, now I think that if you're a kid, that you should have no tattoos and no piercings. I think that's a rebel now, because I think it's a uniform now to have tattoos and to have piercings.
Oh, I'm so sick of tattoos. Well, it's so overdone.
But but my point is that when people used to do things like that, it was different. It was artistic. Now it's just like putting on the school uniform. Really, you know what I mean. So it's the same. It's just the concept that I'm talking about, and that's what I think I liked about early KISS, right?
Yeah, getting back to this, we lost connection, so we're back here. Getting back to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and should they care? It's almost kind of like the sore loser attitude, and it's kind of like, if they said, "Oh, KISS, we're inducting you into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame," are they going to say, "No, I don't care"? No, they're going to say, "Yeah, we're going to be there with bells on. We'll be there with tons of pyro and lights and gear and whatever." And then if they say, "Well, sorry, KISS, you didn't make it again this year," then they might say, "No, we don't really care."
My point is that they should, no matter what happens, they should say screw it. Like that's really rock and roll. It's sort of like, think about this for a second, Jeff. If you're, like I said, if you're in your town or in a school, and there's this really cool group that won't let you in, right? Mm-hmm. And eventually they say, by the way, you can go. Oh, yeah, now you can join.
Yeah.
Right? And there's nothing wrong with you in the first place. But, now you can join. So should you really jump up and down and say, well, geez, fucking thanks a lot? It's the same thing.
It is the same thing. And it all comes down to ego and confidence and what
think of the splash.
whole idea of what do people think of me? Yeah. And how does their acceptance make me feel? And, there's... they should exactly. At some point in time, they might say, "Well, okay, you can come along and join us," and then you feel like crap, if you do, and then You feel like you lost out on something.
Well, think
if you walk
of
away.
this potential. KISS declines Rock and Roll Hall of Fame invitation.
That ain't gonna happen.
No, but think about it. So KISS is the only one ever.
If they're inducted,
if they're the only ones
there.
ever that said, you know what, screw that. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what, that in and of itself would create mayhem in terms of the industry, in terms of, you know, it'll be on all the talk shows. KISS, the only band in history to decline to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they don't believe the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has anything to do with rock and roll.
That could be, and that would certainly make some good, interesting PR for the band.
No worse than Miley Cyrus flying through the air naked on a wrecking ball.
Well, let's put KISS on a wrecking ball, eh? Naked, yes, naked Paul Stanley on a wrecking ball.
I'd still rather see Miley Cyrus, but I don't like either idea, really, to be honest with you. So there's a few other ideas that come up we can talk about another time.
Yeah, just an idea that I jotted down, and it relates to this. Something I wrote down was, should the original 4 members of KISS reunite in some way? I don't mean a tour, but reunite in some way before KISS expires or before someone dies, and I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction would be an opportunity for that. Now, this is interesting because we got Gene Simmons, who's appeared on a number of, well, at least his words have appeared on a number of posts and threads giving his opinion on it. And I think I've read that it was pretty nasty what he said about Peter. And I've read some other threads where he recanted that and said, I didn't mean to sound so nasty. What he meant was that they would never, ever tour again. He has no desire to ever tour with Ace and Peter. I can understand that. He's got 2 top-notch members in his band, and KISS is certainly functioning quite well with those 2 members. So I think he kind of made it sound as if he would not appear anywhere with Ace and Peter. He'd sooner be dead than do that, but he recanted and said that all he meant was he would never tour with them again. But I think that now he said that the other thing I read, and I'm not exactly sure how he worded it, but it was something like they're invited, they're welcome to be there. So I kind of see it as KISS are going to perform with Tommy and Eric, and they expect Peter and Ace to sit in the audience and watch this. Are Peter and Ace going to be content to sit there and watch that?
Again, it's the same question for me. If I'm Ace and Peter, I don't know. I mean,
are you going to show up? I mean, who are you inducting? Okay, you're inducting KISS, but how? What incarnation of KISS are you going to induct? And that all comes down to when you walk through the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. What is it that you're going to see? Are you going to see a photograph of the band? Are you going to push a button and see interactive video? What is it that's actually going to be on display? Now, obviously, there's going to have to be something photographic. My guess is it would be a timeline. You would see early pictures of KISS in the 80s without their makeup, the reunion maybe, and then pictures of the current lineup. That's my guess. But let's just say they said, we're keeping it simple. It's one photograph of KISS. You choose. Who are you going to put there? You'd almost think that it should be a picture of the original 4.
I still think that if that's what it came down to, I think that that's what you'd see. I think Gene and Paul would do that, because when you look at the book that you haven't got yet, the concert tour book, right? And they're prominent in that. They're in the first half of that, and they don't eliminate them from that kind of stuff. But they also don't shy away from showing Tommy and Eric in the second half. So I don't know. I mean, again, to me, the bigger issue for me is I don't see them functioning as a band ever again. Maybe, and I've already had the reunion once. I don't need to have it. It was good the first time. It was great the first time. I don't think they can ever go back and do that again, ever.
No, but I would like to see the 4 original members accepting something. If it's not Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, maybe some kind of Lifetime Achievement Award, or just to see the 4 members.
Yeah.
Even just in their shirts and jackets, to just stand and recognize the I don't know. I just love the original lineup so much. Before someone dies, I mean, they are approaching 70. I don't know. 70 is much younger than it used to be, but I mean, I think before someone goes, I'd like to see the 4 of them together do something.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I mean, you'd like to think that in this life that people can be mature enough and to put aside things. I that's one of the things I've learned in my life is to live quite a bit. In terms of like life is too short to really hang on to things. And don't get me wrong, if somebody did something to my family or something like that's one thing, but reality is in life, I mean, it's not worth it. And you'd like to think that they'd be able to. It would be a nice thing if they could just say, you know what, we're okay with each other, and it is what it is. We both, everybody in this band has done something wrong to each other. It's not just one or the other. Everybody's got their share. So at the end you say, you know what. Yeah. It is what it is. I'm glad we did it, and we don't hate each other, and let's move on, and that would be fun. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So, so all kinds of things. What else came up? And we got to wrap this up pretty quick, I'd say. Oh, here's a good question because this goes right in line with Chris Medic asked, "How should KISS end?" So that's a good. I mean, there's a loaded question. How should KISS end? There's Gene's new book that's going to come out. Should he have a book? I wasn't meaning to. I wasn't meaning to discuss them all today, but
no. But if I could just throw in 30 words, and it's going to be more than that. I'd like to see KISS end the way it began. I'd like to see if they're going to end it. And I mean, they did a farewell tour, which wasn't a farewell tour. It was farewell to Ace and Peter, is what it was. But if they're going to say, look, it's time to put this to rest, I'd like to see Ace and Peter on stage, even for one song, and that song should be something from the first album. Maybe Deuce, because that's the song that Ace Frehley auditioned with. To get up and do Deuce one last time as a band, and then hug each other and wave to the camera. I don't know, and I don't think they'll do that, but my God, it would be... To me, that would be special.
I actually agree with you. I think that would be a great way to do it. I think that they just haven't shown that they're going to have that willpower to just end it until they're forced to end it.
Yeah, it's almost like these guys just don't know when to quit. But I said this summer after seeing the Monster tour. And I didn't like the set list, and I don't think Paul was on top of his game. But my God, it's like, don't end it. Bring it back next summer. I enjoyed that show so much. The spectacle, the stage, the lights, that big spider. And something I wanted to mention, I chuckled a little bit earlier. Did you notice how the spider in the photos from the KISS Cruise is sort of like a smaller, inverted version of it? It's almost like the spider's dead, like he's on his back with his legs up. Did you notice that? Anyway, that's what it looked like.
Yeah.
It looked like
there's a whole. I think there's a whole show on that right there. How should KISS end?
I mean, 10 years from now, I hope to be kicking, and I hope that
some would say
all my friends will be alive and kicking. But it'd be interesting to see: will this KISS machine?
Yeah, it's a good question, and some would say it died a long time ago, so there's nothing for it to end. So that's still a topic for future. Gene's new book is going to be a topic for us in terms of just the conception.
What? Hold on, sorry. What is Gene's new book?
That's the one. Literally, he's tweeted that he's going to have a new book called Me Inc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
you mentioned
I don't know anything about it. Actually. My buddy there, Justice, told me about it. He said he suggested it, Justice Sanford, and that we talk about that. And I said, "What would we talk about? I don't know anything about the book." He said, "Well, just why is he putting out a new book, et cetera, et cetera." I said, "Yeah." The other thing that Ace recently shot back at Gene, in public there's an article that came out that talked about Gene calling Ace and Peter to cancer of the band and had to be removed. And also, he addressed.
I read that.
So Ace also addressed the whole foreclosure thing on his property, And when you listen to that, it was kind of interesting because a lot of people have jumped on that bandwagon right away to say, oh, he's foreclosed and he's an awful person, et cetera, et cetera. And he didn't really say he wasn't. He just simply said that people were supposed to be taking care of it and they didn't. And I can completely believe that. But anyway, it was just interesting to see how that came up, and how people do tend to jump on these things because they have their own point of view on it. And I don't know what the real truth is. But there's lots of things, Jeff. There's lots and lots of things to talk about. Last night, I just inadvertently, I asked a bunch of people through Facebook to comment on topics for us, and I didn't realize I created a chat group. So all of a sudden, I had Victor Del Rio, I had Alvin Glenn Budd, I had Christine Vitale, I had Chris Medic, I had Justice Sanford on there, and I got poor Tommy Summers involved by mistake. And I had all these people going about, talking about potential topics, and but it was really interesting to see how it just took off. Boom! It blew up, and it was funny. So anyway, this has been an interesting. There's lots more.
I had one more little item on my list, if I could just throw it in. It's a very, very monumental thing. It's like one of those elements of one of those moments in time. Okay, we all experienced it. We got KISS Alive 2, whether you got it for your birthday or you got it for Christmas. You opened it up, and what did you find? The tattoo sheet.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember the?
No, see, I told you I was never into the crap stuff like that, right? Well,
anyway, I thought it was a great topic.
What, the tattoo sheet?
Yeah, but if you don't remember it, there's nothing to discuss.
Well, no, I mean, we're going to talk about the tattoo sheet. Like how long are we going to talk about that? Oh, it was cool. I don't remember it.
Well, I think we should devote a whole show to the tattoo sheet.
The Nova Scotia tattoo sheet. Yeah, it's funny. And I don't remember. Like, it's funny. I don't remember that. I'm kidding, of course. I know. I won't mean to make fun of you because actually I know there's things about the band you really enjoyed that I am oblivious to. That's one of the things that I.
Okay. Well, I'll just share with you a real short story about the tattoo sheet.
Wait a minute. It's 10:39. Okay, go ahead.
What? Yeah, I'm in grade 7. I'm sorry to keep you
awake. I gotta work in the morning.
Yeah, so I get this tattoo sheet. Now, I thought that I was Paul Stanley. I really did. I thought that I could be Paul Stanley. And when I learned the guitar a little bit better and really built up my physique and grew my hair longer, I could be Paul Stanley. So one of the little things in the tattoo sheet is the rose that he wears on his shoulder. So I cut that out so carefully, and I placed it, I don't know, it was left or right or whatever it was, right? But I placed it right in that spot, and it's like that brought me one step closer to being Paul Stanley. And these things will wear off with time. So when I shower, I just just gingerly touch it, and when I'm drying off, I just pat it with a towel. I didn't want that tattoo to ever go away. Eventually, the thing flaked off, so I would actually take a pen and draw the little rose and color it in with a pink highlighter. I did that for months.
Jeez, you're a pretty effed up kid.
Oh, jeez. No wonder I got beat up so much.
Actually, I'm kidding. I'm really kidding because for me it was the poster inserts in KISS Alive. That was my thing. I had those all over the place. So I loved it, right? Yeah. And I know what you mean. I do remember the rose.
Those goodies were so special. My God. And the poster, the booklet in Alive 2 was so cool. The poster in Dynasty, I love that. That was so great.
We're just different, right? So we're cut from a different. But you know what? That you were custom made for KISS. You know?
Oh yeah.
You really were because all the things that they've done, you were built to be sucked in by them.
Well, listen, I don't spend any money on KISS.
Well, that's a good. You went to KISS Merchandisers Anonymous, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was a long battle. I fell off the wagon a couple times.
Dr. Drew.
Actually, no. You know what? I actually ordered a T-shirt recently from the KISS website.
You need help, Doctor.
But it was a Canadian tour, and it had my city on the back, and I didn't get one at the venue. So
Dr. Drew intervention. I can see it now. Me and Jennifer and your friends and Dennis come walking in the room, and your kids and Jeff, you know,
Yeah.
we really love you.
This is an intervention, and they start taking all my KISS. They take my credit card for all my KISS merchandise.
They burn all the stuff in your closet. They take all your makeup, and yeah, you have to go a year without putting on clown makeup.
No. You can take the action figures, but you're not taking their makeup.
That's too funny. This is it.
So I need to go back. I need some more Halloween candy. I think I got. Oh, I got Hershey. So
all right. Well, we should.
Yeah. So it's time to eat some Halloween candy and sign off and do something else.
Like sleep and go to work tomorrow. But this has been real fun. I got to say, like I said, I enjoy our conversations when we just kind of go and just talk about stuff that's KISS related. You never know where we're going to go. So that's the most fun to me. Then we have a pocket sometimes where we know where we're going to go. So
yeah. Episode 12. Well, 13. You know what's going to happen in 13?
Well, we'll have to talk about that. Lucky 13. We'll have to put it out on a Friday.
Oh, definitely. Maybe there's a Friday 13th somewhere left in the year.
Well, 13th is probably going to be the Christmas show. Because we can't put out more than that. You know, we're going to have this episode. Really, this episode shouldn't launch for another week and a half for sure. Just to let the other one go. So we're going to be into the end of November. So we're probably doing our Christmas show next.
No, it's our Christmas show.
You said that before. It's just like Kissmas, Kisstery.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when you watch, I think it's the Tom Snyder interview. Ace Frehley just thinks that's the most ridiculous thing, because Gene says Kisstery, probably one of the first times you hear them use that word, and Ace jumps right on top of that. Kisstery, everything is Kisstery, Kissmas, Merry Christmas, and you can just tell that he's just. It's like, come on, this is ridiculous. We're a rock band.
You should watch that interview with Neil Peart.
I'll check that out.
It's on. If you want to go check out East Coast Rush Tribute there on that page, it's down a little ways. It's there. You just click, you can see it. It's in the first 15 minutes of the interview. He talks about KISS, and
I have to. Oh yeah, definitely. And I have to listen to Charisma. Listen to the drum part on Charisma.
There's a variation in there that's really strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping up. This is Jeff Scott in St. John, New Brunswick.
Jeff Gray in Stewiacke, Nova Scotia.
Thank you for tuning in to Watchin'
us.
Okay, good night, Jeff.